So all the people, on the right, the conservatives, the anti-woke people who got so much right about so many issues in the last few years, whether it was, the transgender nonsense that they opposed, or the COVID authoritarianism that they opposed, or Justin Trudeau opposing that, and all of the other woke nonsense, and the Trump derangement syndrome stuff, and being right about Kamala Harris being awful and an idiot, and being right about Joe Biden being incapacitated and shouldn't be in that position. All the people were right about so much. Have you noticed that in the last few months they've turned into a psychopathic mob of bloodthirsty zealots?
I shouldn't have done that.
This is going to get ugly.
So I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure what happened to these people. I don't know if it was just such built up frustration and anger and resentment at being governed by these woke leftist ideologues for so long, and just seeing their world and their countries and their cities and their provinces and their states just kind of get trashed, and no matter who they voted for, it didn't seem to matter. They couldn't get the people they thought would be good elected, and they just got angrier and angrier, and it just seemed more stupid and insane, with like, well, men can just say they're women now. I mean, nobody can believe that, just on and on and on. Open borders, and nobody's doing anything about it, and like somebody's got to come in and they've got to clean this up, and they're so angry about it that they've just turned into these zealots who think that to hell with it. I want these people hurt. I want those people punished. I want revenge on those people. Kill everybody who doesn't agree with us. And Donald Trump is the emblem of all this. He's the embodiment of this pushback forever against all of this stuff. We're just going to go flat out with this stuff, and we're not putting up with any anymore. So the more kind of revenge and damage we can get, the better. It's something like that. There's just this sense of absolute righteousness. This like, now it's our turn, that kind of thing. And we're incapable of being wrong. And so don't question us. Because if you question us, even if you were on our side before, now you're not on our side, right? So now you're anybody who's going, hey, wait a minute, maybe this isn't so great. They're immediately the enemy. And I'm not listening to you. And those are terrible people. And they're actually on the side of the bad people that we hate. They're woke right and all of this kind of nonsense, right? Very weird, very disturbing. I think you started to see this around the time of, it started to become really obvious around the time of the shooting of those two civilians in the States. The ICE authorities shot and killed two idiots, two left-wing hippy-dippy idiots who think they're changing the world or whatever. And I know my reaction to that was, whoa, I get the whole we need to deal with the legal immigrants thing, but we're not in favor of armed representatives of the state shooting stupid people in the street because they're dumb, right? We're not in favor of that. And it was like, oh my God, people are in favor of that. Those people deserved it. They were asking for it. And it's like, wait a minute. Conservative people, small government people, those kind of like, what the hell are you in favor of here? And it's same with the Venezuela thing with Maduro. It's like, so I thought we were supposed to be against the U.S. invading other countries. And what's this thing where you just kind of invade countries and you kidnap their politicians? It's like, you can do that? That's something? Yeah, shut up. Whose side are you on? And it's like, and in Canada, you saw it with demonstrations, so you had that Al-Quds Day demonstration a few weeks ago, and you've had a few other demonstrations where you have the people who are the conservatives, right? The people who in Canada were criticizing liberals and leftists for supporting the government's actions against the right of Canadians to demonstrate in Ottawa, right? You can't take away these people's rights. They're Canadian citizens. They have the right to demonstrate. These same people are like, I want these people stopped. I want hate speech laws enforced on all these people. Hate speech laws. These are conservatives, right? Conservative people. I want to see what was done to the truckers done to these people, right? Because I oppose tyranny or something. It's like I get it. I'm not thrilled with Al-Quds Day demonstrations. I don't like any of that. But you can't just suddenly turn around and go, the thing that was wrong when it was done to people I support, I want to empower the government to do that to people that I oppose. And it's like people, wanting people arrested for, peculiar hand gestures and things, and it's like, what are we doing here? And now with the situation in Iran, it's just exploded into all-out bloodthirsty, I don't care who gets killed. It's all for the right reasons because we're the good people, and I trust Trump, and the tweet that he put out, that threatening to wipe out civilizations and things, and if you say anything about that, then you're with the terrorists. This is crazy stuff, and so a great example of it is, Tucker Carlson responded to Trump's tweets, and Tucker was a huge help to Trump getting elected the second time around. So Tucker took issue with that tweet, the things he said in it, and the timing and everything, and all of the conservatives, all the good people, all the morally excellent people, they went nuts. All of these other conservatives saying he's insane and he supports terrorism and he's just such a bad person. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to look at this, and see exactly what Tucker said in this video that everybody is pointing out. He's proved what a terrible person, these awful values that this man holds. So I went and I looked at it, and it turned out he said things like this.
If there's one thing that every person knows, that is, in a civilized country, you can't steal without penalty. It's not allowed. That doesn't belong to you. You can't invade countries to steal their stuff because they're all varieties of the same theme, which is theft. And theft is wrong.
I find it really sad that he's just doubling down and doubling down.
Theft is wrong.
Just doubling down and doubling down.
I can't support theft because it's immoral.
Just doubling down and doubling down.
It is vile on every level. It begins with a promise to use the U.S. military, our military, to destroy civilian infrastructure in another country, which is to say to commit a war crime, a moral crime against the people of the country.
But yeah, I'm the one that sent the president all your shit, Tucker, because he deserves to see the fact that you are lying about him and you are smearing him.
Open the fucking straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. All caps. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. Now, a lot of people reading that imagined, of course, this can't be real.
That you are lying about him.
Did the President of the United States really just write that?
In the Tucker case, it's just sort of an endless conspiracy, crazy town episode every day.
And it is real.
Conspiracy, crazy.
You cause chaos and death, mass suffering and death when you do that. Killing non-combatants, people who did nothing wrong, who didn't choose this war, who were just people created by God. That is immoral.
He sounds crazy. It's either he's mentally ill, he's either relapsed as an alcoholic.
For the president to call for that, it's worth stopping and saying, no, this is not acceptable under any circumstances.
The willful repudiation of the conservatism that Tucker himself represented, along with us for many years, is eerie. and disturbing at a very personal as well as ideological level.
Iran is a modern country. What happens when it loses power?
Some of the off-the-wall statements by Tucker.
Well, people die. Babies connected to incubators die. People in hospitals die. You cause chaos and death, mass suffering and death when you do that.
But when you go crazy and say things like Tucker has said,
killing non-combatants, people who did nothing wrong, who didn't choose this war, who were just people created by God, that is immoral.
this is really dark, spiritually, very, very dark.
That will never be moral. That can never be justified. That is always wrong.
Turning against the man that we elected, Donald Trump. I mean, we should be able to agree that we elected him and that we can trust him.
To send out a tweet with the F word on Easter morning promising the murder of civilians and then saying praise be to Allah without explaining any of it?
We should be able to agree that we elected him and that we can trust him.
In the Tucker case, it's just sort of an endless conspiracy, crazy.
He sounds crazy.
But when you go crazy and say things like Tucker has said,
Crazy.
I
want that motherfucker, Tucker Carlson, to know that I'm the one who knifed him from the front.
Conservatives, something's happened to you. You're the problem now.
Hans, I've just noticed something.
These communists are all cowards.
Have you looked at our caps recently?
Our caps?
The badges on our caps. Have you looked at them?
What? No. A bit?
They've got skulls on them. Have you noticed that our caps have actually got little pictures of skulls on them?
I don't...
Hans, are we the baddies?
This is going to get ugly.
Never open.